Hello and welcome. I'm Jade of Jaded Reader, and today I am in my childhood bedroom at my grandmother's house. Sorry for the location change again. I am going to be actually changing locations quite a bit. I don't know if you've caught up on that, but my background keeps changing. I keep changing. I can't really stay in the same spot right now because we are in flux, but I did want to get my TBR out for the month of October. I have a really set and specific TBR because they're the only books I physically have with me or physically own. I have a few audiobooks that I can possibly squeeze in between, but my priority, my chief priority is going to be my physical books, because whatever physical books I do not read this month will not be coming with me to Japan. So I'm down to the wire here. I want to get these books read. They are books I'm highly interested in. October is going to be fantastic. I've been looking forward to October for a long time now. It's one of my favorite months. If I had to decide between seasons, it'd be autumn and spring. Summer and winter can have it. Not interested. But I do love autumn a lot, and October feels like the epitome of autumn and all the things I love about it, so I'm really looking forward to my autumn TBR. I tried to curate books to autumn while also trying to make sure I got all the books I wanted to read read. A little bit seasonal, a little bit panic, and a lot to read. I will be actually participating in Gothtober, and I will be on the Angels team. I'm not much of an Angel person, I'm not gonna lie, but I am an Olivia Savannah person, and Olivia's Catastrophe is the leader of the Angels, so go ahead and go to Olivia's channel down below, find out what I'm talking about, and find out more about Gothtober. I won't be putting these books in Gothtober categories here. Instead, if you go to my Instagram, you can follow along and see which books I'm putting into which categories, so on and so forth, because as of right now, I know the books I need to read, and I'll figure out how to apply them to life. She did mention that we are able to swap out for different teams' prompts, and there are two I'll swap out for. One is monochrome, because I don't have any monochrome books, I know for sure, both audiobooks and physical books right now, unless I totally misunderstand what monochrome is, in which case tell me which one of these books is monochrome. And the second one is the Bible verse. I would just prefer to not pick one on the Bible verse. I know I picked the Angels team again. My love for Olivia Savannah. So instead, I will be reading a book about murder. So feel free to go to my Instagram and see which books I put in each of these prompts. Just want to keep that in mind. I did want to have some fun and participate in more readathons. I just know I need it to be real low-key, so it'll just be a social media thing, not a YouTube thing. Though I guess I announced it on here, so it's kind of a YouTube thing. Let's get started. One of the oldest books and first books I'd like to get to in October is Amberlough. This is by Laura Elena Donnelly, and the back says, meet a smuggler, a dancer, and a spy during a decadent era just before a political coup is about to set the city on fire, exploring the roots of hatred, nationalism, and fascism, while at the same time celebrating diversity, love, romance, fashion, and joy. Why have I not read this book? This sounds absolutely fantastic. I believe it's 1920s as well. This is my vibe. This is very October. It's not very Angels, but it's me, and I want to read it very, very much. Due to urgings from friends, I'm going to give V.E. Schwab another shot, and I have been told I probably will like A Darker Shade of Magic. I also had a few comments saying people who didn't really care for this Savage song or weren't really V.E. Schwab fans before really liked Darker Shade of Magic, so I am hoping that this kind of pushes me into the V.E. Schwab fandom, or at least just this one book. This is a pretty well-known book, but I haven't seen it talked about in a while. From what I understand, there is a magician named Kel in this book, and he has portal magic of some sort where you can hop through different Londons. The main character, it seems like, is also a smuggler, so he uses his portal powers to be able to jump to these differing Londons, and he knows their layout really well because they're all the same London, but they're different Londons. They're I shouldn't be the one describing this book. Green London, White London, Black London. Yeah, Black London's Forbidden London. It sounds super interesting. I can never fault V.E. Schwab for having an original story. This is also an exclusive edition. I don't know if it's a Barnes & Noble exclusive, but it has this nice little ribbon and some artwork there. So that's nice, and I wish more adult books had art more often. Next up, Wicked As You Wish. This is the advanced reader's copy of Rin Chupeco's Wicked As You Wish. They are an author I've been wanting to get to for a very long time. I have been told that I will like them. I have been interested in them. I really like how they portray themselves on social media. And this book is interesting because it has two elements. One I'm very drawn to, and one I'm a little adverse to. We have many years ago a magical kingdom of Avalon, interest, was left desolate and encased in ice when the evil Snow Queen waged war against the powerful country. Its former citizens are now refugees in a world mostly devoid of magic, which is why the Crown Prince and his protectors are stuck in Arizona. And I hate Arizona. I've lived in Arizona, so I'm allowed to hate it. Did not care for Arizona. It's the wrong kind of hot. Yeah, I'm really interested in this mixture of like fantasy world, and I'm guessing some sort of portal magic that gets them stuck in the modern world. I'm not usually a fan of that, but A Curse So Dark and Lonely actually does that pretty well, so maybe I just need to open my mind more, and maybe this prince will hate Arizona as much as I do. The Unveiled by MC Ray. I want to read this. I received this from the author MC Ray a while ago, and I wanted to get to it really badly, so I started it right away. I was enjoying myself, and then I don't remember what exactly happened. A month ended, a readathon ended, something happened. Apparently I blocked out of my memory. Maybe Japan was delayed, but I set it down and I actually physically couldn't find it for some time. I'm going to be trying that again because there was nothing I disliked about this book. I will be starting over from the beginning. If I can't even remember what happened in my own life, I don't want to go in thinking I'm going to remember what happened in these characters' lives. In this book, you have Ayla Starlight, who lives in a wealthy section of Keldrock, and you have these different caste systems within the city. I recently read a book that had a lot of these elements in it, and I really liked it. I liked the political intrigue of these different caste systems and having someone figuring their privilege out pretty much. And the magical element in this is that this kingdom is actually filled with sprites, so the main character is a sprite, and usually I'll get magical creatures that are like supporting characters, or they are almost used in world building aspects, so I like that the main characters in this book are actually magical creatures. And Alia is actually looking forward to a festival or ball, but instead somehow she ends up outside of her city into an area that is forbidden, and she obviously has some discoveries about her world, and I'm happy to discover the world with her. I also just think this cover is really cool. I've always been drawn to it. I don't know why I haven't read this yet. I'm hoping October's that month. After that, we have Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. I read Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. This shot up right towards the top of my must-read list. I'm really excited to find out if Elizabeth Lim is a favorite of mine. It's also blurbed by Tamara Pierce, who's one of my favorite people. This has the girl disguised as a boy trope, which is one I am a sucker for. Thanks Tamara Pierce for that. And in this you have a girl who wants to be a tailor. She has high ambitions of being the greatest tailor in the land, but unfortunately she's a girl, so therefore the best she can hope for is to marry well. So what does she do besides stop being a woman and dress as a boy to enter a cutthroat competition? I've never seen so much intensity with sewing before, and she looks like the greatest tailor in the world, so I really hope it works out for her. I really want to read it. Elizabeth Lim has been on my mind for the entire month of September, and I'm excited to pick her back up again. Then I have Labyrinth Lost by Zoraida Cordova. I think that I read this. You heard me correctly. I think that I read this, and I'm going to be looking back at my older videos to see. I don't know if I finished it or not. I remember starting it, enjoying it, and I can't remember the ending. And when I was deciding on whether I wanted to keep it or not, I realized I couldn't remember much about it besides some of the beginning, and so I'm going to be picking this one back up. If it jogs my memory and I have like an aha, this book moment, I will definitely be setting this one down and just deciding what box it'll go in or if I'm keeping it. Point being, if you remember me reading it, good on ya, please tell me. It is a perfect October read. We have Nothing Says Happy Birthday Like Summoning the Spirits of Your Dead Relatives. Alex is a bruja, the most powerful witch in a generation. Her death day celebration, Alex performs a spell to rid herself of her power, but it backfires. Her whole family vanishes into thin air, leaving her alone with Nova, a Bruja boy she can't trust. It sounds really good, and I do remember bits and pieces of this and feeling intrigued, so I don't understand what's happening to me. I don't know if this is spell work, but if I didn't finish this book, this will be hopefully the month that I do so. After that, I know this is a long TBR. I'm definitely doomed. Some of these books are going to break my heart because I'm not going to get to them. This is one that I just bought and I have very, very strong drawing vibes to, so I would be surprised if I did not pick up Wings of Ebony by JL. This is the signed edition that I found at a bookstore. That's actually why I ended up nabbing it. I already really wanted this book, and when I saw it was the signed edition, I was like, I'm not gonna get the opportunity to get this book signed. That's so cool. So here's what this book is about. I love the color scheme as well. Like, that is so like obnoxiously vibrant. I'm in love with that. Rue is the main character, and she is incredibly close to her family, but when one of her family members dies, she is actually ripped from the people she knows and loves that are surrounding her and supporting her, and taken to a magical world where she is trained in magic and then returns to her family only to find out the world that she knew is now in disarray. So this will be one of my top priority books that I get to in October, and I can't wait to tell you if I loved it. I hope that I do. When I was packing up my books into seasons, I'll have that video up above, but when I was doing that, I read the synopsis just to give a quick synopsis, and I realized I really wanted to read this book. I didn't know what the plot was, but when I found it out, I was like, yes, I want that. This follows our main character who has the unique ability to still people's memories, and she is captured and raised by the Crown. Now she is acting as a double spy, and her love interest is kidnapped or captured, and it is her going to save him, as well as some high political intrigue and magic. I've actually seen really great reviews for this, but I just never really understood what it was about. Going into this with really high expectations. This is a signed edition with red sprayed edges, so making the experience all a little bit more fun. Definitely has kind of like an October vibe about it, even if the synopsis didn't seem super October-y to me. It's good for Instagram. We're nearing the dead end. Did you stay with me? While I'm pretty sure this month, which is September, I am going to finish Wicked Deep, and it will be in my wrap-up. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be getting to Tuesday Mooney Talks to Ghosts by Kate Reculia. I did this for my first chapter tag, really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun, but it just didn't catch my attention the same way the other books did. So I'm going into October with pretty high hopes, especially since this has like a sentient haunted house and a bit of a murder mystery, and I love that kind of book, and this one seemed like it was going to be a lot of fun. So a bit more lighthearted and quirky, less thriller, suspense, scary, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I still am highly interested. Same goes for Foxhole Court by Nora Sokovic. I did talk about this in my TBR and my reading the first chapters videos. I actually got pretty far. I just know I'm not going to finish it, so I will finish this in October. It is an interesting read. If you've read this book before, you did your best to try and like let me know. But for those out there who have not read this, I honestly don't know what I will end up scoring this book. It is a wild ride. The characters are wild. The characters, I can't decide if I'm loving it or if I'm just like aghast. It's a lot of fun though. It has a made-up sport, and I don't know anything about sports, so for me the sports aspect is like secondary and just like, sure, cool, exy, awesome. It's like a cross between rugby and lacrosse. I would not be able to tell you the rules of those sports anyhow, but these are some hardened fellows, and just a lot of intensity is going on in this book, a lot of drama, and I'm here for it until the end of October, and then I'll find out how long I'm here for it. Finally, the last book. You're like, what? You're ending with this? Yes, I am. The last book on this list is Japanese from Zero, number 1, because I'm studying Japanese. And this is one of the materials that I was recommended on different channels. I have studied Japanese before this. This is not my first step into my Japanese learning, but I did want to try out this series, and it's better to start with a language series, I believe, from the beginning, even if you have a little bit more knowledge. It adds good refreshers and you get an idea of how the course works. And because this is a scaffolding course that builds upon itself, I wanted to start from 0 to 1. I am moving to Japan. If you did not know that, welcome to my channel, because there's no way that you didn't know that before. Because I'm living in Japan, I want to learn Japanese as well as get a better understanding of its culture, and I'm studying Japanese. If you want to know more about studying techniques, I am trying to kind of build a routine for myself. So if that's something that you're interested in, let me know and I will make a video on that, because I do kind of have a regimented routine and I'm hoping to add this into it. And that is it. We are done. This is over. Really excited for the month of October for so many different reasons. I hope you are too. I would love to know what you're reading, or if you've read any books on this list and you think it's the one I should start with. I will be having, because I liked the first one so much, another Triad Chapters video. Like I said, I had so much fun. I want to do it again, and it really helped me figure out where to start. As soon as I finished a book, I was like, oh yeah, let's read that. And yeah, that was just really great. That is all for now, and I hope you are enjoying the sun or more stars wherever you are. Until next time. Bye! Then I'll definitely, wow, the breakfast my mom brought in smells really good. Then I have Labyrinth Lost, because in Olivia's Savannah, the wide grasslands, she owns all of her own. But I did want to get